Welcome everyone. Thank you for the great introduction. And just waiting on Jennifer to come on board. But before I start, I wanted to say, there's Jen. All right, come on. Yeah. So first of all, I want to say a big thank you to the organizers of the WOW Summit. We have Lisa, we have Mary, we have Lou, we have everyone here. So please give a big round of applause for the organizers as well. Okay, thank you. And secondly, also most importantly, thank you guys for being here, because without you, there would be no summit. So a big round of applause also for the audience today. Thank you so much. Okay. And my esteemed panelists. So they are the ones who are now in the field doing hands-on and all those kind of good things where we're going to be talking about today. So I will give each person a little bit of time to talk a little bit about what they do before I jump into the questions. And at the end, we'll have some time for Q&A as well. So if you have a question about a particular thing, please ask me or anyone else to just raise your hand, and I can ask the questions on the stage. So first of all, I would just start with the gentleman on my left, Alex. So Alex, can you tell us a bit about what you do, what your company does, and how is that relevant to what we're going to be talking about today?
Thank you, Ali G. So my name's Alex, co-founder and CEO of Articulated AI. Just a quick shout out to Ivan. Thank you for inviting me to be on this panel. I'm very humble. I feel like a boy amongst giants here, but I'll try my best. Articulator, we help traditional emerging artists. We help them create digital renditions of their original work so they can sell it to their fans and community at a fraction of the price. And we are associated with Hong Kong UST. I'm very proud that my co-founder, Daniel, Professor Daniel, is also here. And yeah. Just humble to be here. Thank you very much.
Okay. And Eric, please tell us a little more about what you do.
Sure. Thank you, Ali. Hi, this is Eric. I'm used to managing the Sandbox platform, focusing in APAC Asia market. And then actually Sandbox is a kind of well-known metaverse platform. So what is related to AI is, actually this is a questions the community asking me every day. Any new features related to AI will be integrated to Sandbox soon, and then what kind of tools that we can always support for the creators as well. So this is what I'm trying to share today, and then also how we can use AI to integrate the creative, doing something in Web3 as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And last but not least, the colorful Jennifer. Please tell us more about yourself and what you do.
Hi, hi everyone. Wow, nice to see familiar faces in the audience and on my panel. I'm Jennifer Chang Lo. I'm a serial exited entrepreneur and an investor for my family office, New Chic Capital. And I started New Chic, which means new girl, a little over 10 years ago. I had an IPO in the e-commerce space, and then 2 ICOs after that. And after I had already started deploying and investing in a few hundred companies and fund managers in AI and blockchain, the company actually had another 2 ICOs and became Crypto.com. So I kind of got into Web3 accidentally. And then some of the folks on stage, I heard Sandbox, that's great. Sebastian and Yacht have been good friends for a long time. Yacht actually introduced Sebastian and Arthur to me before they started Sandbox. So I think a lot of our journeys can start really well early on, and then I'm really excited to be in the AI and art and entertainment because I think Elmo has my phone, he'll give it back to me in a little bit, but I'm going to demonstrate my AI twin later to you. She can play the piano just like me, because I'm a concert pianist, and she also MCs with me in some of my live streams. So without further ado, I'm going to give it back to our illustrious moderator, Ali, over there.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So I'm Ali from Ali G Studios. I'm a professional photographer and also an educator. I created Hong Kong's first smartphone photography masterclass for secondary school systems. I apply AI for my content generation, for coursework, and also some editing in the photos that I do. So let me get started with some of the questions we put together for you guys. First question is, how is generative AI reshaping the creative process in art and entertainment? Within that, I would like to know more about things like DeepSeek, the Nano Banana, Midjourney, and so on, and also explore how AI lowers the barriers for non-professionals, enabling rapid prototyping and iteration. So I'm going to pass it along one by one. Please give us your input to that. Thank you. I start with Alex, please.
Yeah, I think if I start with the last point you made with the lowering the barriers to entry, I actually also think that on top of enabling people to get into the art scene, not necessarily having the skills and hard skills, but dive into that and use their creativity. There's also the other end of the spectrum where actual artists, traditional artists who have honed their craft can also use AI to expedite what they do, focusing on creation, but also getting rid of all that nitty-gritty, monotonous tasks that have to do as artists, and they can use AI to really enhance their workflow. And I think AI is really going to help with that.
Okay. And Eric?
Okay, so to share more, actually Sandbox is a user-generative content platform that maybe everyone know it. So that means actually our platform is try to get more creators on board with perhaps they can use Web3 solutions to monetize their creation as well. So we find that there's not too many creators. They are really familiar with 3D modeling into the gaming area as well. So that's why some of the generative AI tools, which is maybe not created by Sandbox, but created by the creator or community, is already existing. Some tools can help the people. They can start with some generative AI tools and then to create their very first 3D modeling at the first of beginning. So after that, they can use this, put it back into the Sandbox tools, and then to do more modify. For example, like animations, or make it even better. So perhaps this is a very easy first step for them to get started with.
I think it's a very, very good starting point, right? So Jennifer, how is generative AI reshaping the creative process in art and entertainment in your opinion?
I mean, I love this question. I love actually how Alex and Eric both touched upon the fact that we're actually a step beyond now traditional art, where it's just content creation. Now more and more I see of all of us, especially I love collecting art. Everyone who knows me in the Web3 space knows like I have like 2,000 NFTs. I love NFTs. And right now the question is quality rather than quantity. And to make sure that we have amazing curators like I'm sure us on the stage and others curating and ensuring that quality is at a very high standard. Because now it's just not just because anyone and their dog can do it generative AI, that means it's art, right? You have to make sure that it still fits the definition of the meaning, and that also, because we're living in such a world with high signal to noise ratio, we need to be able to condense that message and keep what makes us human, which is AI, but linked to entertainment and art. Those are what is keeping us human and not androids right now.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Let me get to now a very important topic, which is also very dear to me. We're talking about the ethics of AI, especially for artists, because we are prone to have our work stolen all the time, used in various platforms. So the question that I have for you guys is, what ethical challenges arise from AI's role in content creation? So let me go first also to you, please.
Yeah, it's an interesting question because it's kind of the pain point that Articulator tries to address. Now, the ethical issue is the art truly yours when it's generated by AI? That's the real question. So from our perspective, what our company does is we have verified traditional artists, right? We work with emerging artists in both Hong Kong and across Asia. So we ensure that all the artists that we verify are the only ones able to upload their original artwork onto the platform. From there, and only from there, are they able to deploy our picture-to-picture generative AI tool. So what that does is it preserves the original IP from said artist. Now, once they use our AI tool, they're not trying to resell it at thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's really at a fraction of the cost. So as a buyer or a collector, you are fully aware that you're purchasing something of quote-unquote lesser value, but it's still associated and came from a true artist. So in terms of ethics and how we try to protect our artists, that's kind of how we go about doing it.
Okay. Fantastic. And Eric, what do you think?
Okay, so still come back to the basic. AI is still a tool. So how you're going to use it? This is a very long story to discuss with. So even though generative AI is still based on the people concept or provide some command or prompts to create it. So I still thinking of we still have to think about the how you generate these ideas coming from. So and then there's so many different people are using for social media, you can see a lot of content coming from social media. So I believe that you don't really have a copyright for that, right? It is based on some decided prompts to create it. So come back to the basic. I'm still thinking of how you're going to use these tools, and then it's still the creation should be come from the human, and then how they can help you to create it. But you still have to think about how you're going to use it. For example, like in Sandbox, perhaps that I mentioned that you can use it at maybe the first concept of your creations, but you still have to input some of your creations of ideation into it. And then maybe you can go through the Web3 solutions with smart contract to make sure this belongs to your own creations as well. So there's still a lot of way to make sure this is the original creations from these dedicated artists to compare if you just generate pictures in like 5 seconds. It's still a very big difference into it.
Yes, I think what you said, especially when it comes to the decentralized part and the smart contracts, is a key aspect of it, right? During the NFT days, we made sure that we got our royalties via the smart contracts, right? So that was a key thing for us creators. Now, Jennifer, something very interesting that you have a climate and ESG blockchain companies that you've worked with.
Yeah.
So I want to know, how does the ethical aspect of it tie into what you're doing with those projects?
Okay, I'm going to answer this question like. Sorry, hello. I'm going to answer this question in 2 ways. So I accidentally started investing in AI about 6 years ago, building as well. And then I would say 3 years ago, a lot of my existing portfolio, like a few hundred of them, started pivoting into something AI, whether that was like Animoca, Sandbox, whoever it was, right? And the other thing, I noticed the question is worded very interestingly. It says, what ethical challenges arise from AI's role in content creation? And I think what we were forgetting is that right now, until AI has reached singularity and is overtaking us, AI is still being powered by people. So what we're worried about is bad actors, IP, and then I'm going to shout out because I see one of my partners who is my IP attorney sitting in the audience. Hi, Lawrence. I'm looking at you. Hello. And he's on my investment committee. But one thing that I noticed really early on, even a decade ago, is that as someone who is an investor, a prominent investor, founder, creator, builder in the space, people would actually assign me to AI and bots and games and use my picture without abandon. And that's why finally I decided I'm going to join the AI wars by joining companies that are focused on ESG when they're using the automated processes, whether it's to calculate the carbon footprint and what's going to happen when they develop a piece of land, how they can optimize the value for the environment and the world, as well as the optimization for shareholders. That's behind what we did for another company that raised 20 million for, called ClimateX. And then that's what we're even doing in Bitcoin amongst the open ordinal. Because right now, a lot of people are like, we're Bitcoin purists. We just do Bitcoin and that's it. When you actually have to think about the ramifications of the rest of the ecosystem. I'll show this off later, but one of the reasons why I think we all need to lean in and not just passively use and consume AI is because there are going to be a lot more ethical issues and ramifications if we all don't understand how important we are as stewards. Even if you're using AI or investing in AI or creating AI, we can't create it to go the wrong way, because then it'll be really stacked against us, right? And AI doesn't sleep. We need to sleep.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So, went from the ethics.
Oh, there's one more, sorry, that I
go
want to add. A lot of what people, also, someone was talking to me before I entered the stage about big data. Big data really feeds into AI and the quality of the data. So one of my portfolio companies, Lucia Protocol, they make sure that the data itself is clean, optimized, and it's fed back into the system in a correct way. Because if you're like building something on bad data, then it can also, go the wrong way. Imagine building a building and then like you have loose stones in the structure. You can't do that. The mistakes go all the way up. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Jennifer. Now, we went from the ethics. Now, want to get a little more into the personalization. Right? So we all want experiences which are personal to us, right? Ever since we left the pandemic, people want experiential things. So the question is, in what ways is AI personalizing entertainment experiences for audiences? So again, first I will actually, this one I start with Eric. first, because with Sandbox, you have already audiences coming to your platform. So how is the AI part of it personalizing entertainment for your audiences?
Okay, so I believe not just only Sandbox, but talking about gaming. Everyone asking about what kind of AI component or AI features should integrate into this area. So start from creations. You can always start with AI assist to perhaps to provide you a concept or to gather some idea in the first of beginning. But these ideas are all come from human. So I have to provide a kind of a concept, but AI can help to in-depth for the perhaps story development or some modeling or some graphic or something else as well. But it could really helping us to saving a lot of time to try, to test. But we already can generate some tons of results, and then we can kind of rebuild it. What kind of style or what kind of direction we want to move on. And then actually we are also talking a lot about the AI agency with components, anything we can integrate with the NPC. So that's why, that's mean every time when you get into this metaverse area, perhaps different people, they ask the NPC different questions, then you can get different answers. So it will make the experience more immersive that we usually want to make it as. So it's not just only for visual or something you're listening, but how you experience is into this area. I believe this is a very big area that AI can help to do it. So maybe coming in the very near future, there are so many games that they can really generate different storyline for different users because of what the different behavior they are using with. So this is what I want. I hopefully Sandbox will have these kind of features coming up.
Got it. So before I go to Alex, I want to go to Jennifer because she's got a little demo for us. And actually, I'm very excited to see it for the first time myself. We only chatted backstage. We haven't seen any of the things that she's going to be doing. So Jennifer, tell us about what you'll be doing right now, what this AI digital twin is, and what it's going to be doing for us.
Yep. So she's talking right now. I don't think you can hear her. It's a digital version of Jen. Hi, feed me some data so I can learn. So I'm actually wearing her on my shirt right now as well. Whoa, my mic suddenly starts working. That's great. That's wonderful when that happens, technology. But she's an anime character. I originally started coding her about a year ago, before everybody was like, I have an agent, right? Before the rush of agents. And then if you go to my social media, Jennifer Chang Lo, you'll see she has her own social media, Jen Moonstar. So she's my alter ego. She plays piano. She's done streaming with me because I wanted to abstract angels. Let me see if I can demo now. Jen Moonstar, can you say a quick hi to Ali, Alex, Eric, and Jennifer, and welcome all of our audience here to WOW Summit. She's going to do a little thinking with the bubble. You're going to see the little thinking with the bubble. I think I'm almost getting this down. Yep. She's like, wow, hi, Alex, and hi, Ali, and Eric, and he had subtitles. And welcome everyone to WOW Summit. The microphone's not loud enough. Can you say that one more time? I already got the perfect welcome for Ali, Alex, Eric, and Jennifer. I guess it's you. It's your digital twin. Welcome to WOW Conference, WOW Summit is what she just said, which is great. So, and then if I put her up on a laptop or something later, you'll hear her more. But if you just go to my social media, you'll see her playing the piano, doing other things, and then doing everything except eating and sleeping. She doesn't need to do that, or shower breaks. She doesn't need to do that. Very efficient.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. And I don't know, Alex, do you want to try go at that question? Maybe a personal experience, right?
It's hard.
Maybe with platforms like how would the AI work with Netflix, right? To make your entertainment choices more personable, right?
It's hard to top. I don't have an AI twin, but I might have to get one. But I think obviously Netflix is a good one. I don't know if you guys watched this movie. I think it came out in 2020. It's called Bandersnatch. It's basically an interactive Netflix movie. Okay, so it starts off all the same, but then every 5 or 10 minutes or so, you can choose what way you want that movie to go into. And obviously, the filmmakers have to film like 1,000 different outcomes. Well, maybe not 1,000, but you know what I'm saying. Now, I think, not to make a bold prediction, but obviously nowadays with video creation via Gen AI, it's very easy to do that kind of thing now. You might not even have to click anything. You can just use voice chat or whatever. I think that's something that's going to be really powerful, but at the same time, it's quite concerning for maybe like VFX artists that are concerned of losing their jobs. Now, to circle it back to what Articulator does and how you want to personalize art and entertainment, I think it's a cool way that we can kind of bridge those two things. What we're trying to do as a company now is once you purchase a digital derivative and we embed a non-invasive watermark QR code, you can actually transform that physical still artwork into an image that also moves and also becomes a video. So moving down the line, we can also personalize that experience for all the art collectors. So kind of, again, bridging that gap between art, entertainment via personalization.
Excellent, excellent. Now moving on to another topic or subject that is close to my heart. I get a lot of questions when I'm out in the field working as a photographer. People ask me, aren't you afraid that AI is going to replace your job? Okay? So what I tell them is, if you're doing mundane tasks, if you're doing stuff like product photography, if you're just shooting B-roll video, for sure it's the end. Okay, for sure, it's the end. I can take a nice photo with my iPhone, I can put it into AI generation, and I can create an entire set of images that can be used on social media for my clients. Now, what is not going to end is experiential things. Again, I photograph weddings. When you're at your wedding, you want to be hugging your dad or your mom. You want to see your cousins. You want to dance to that tune, to hear that DJ, experience the wind in your hair. So experiential things are not going to go away. So the question for you guys is, how might AI impact employment in the art and entertainment industries based on what you guys are seeing and what you guys are feeling? So this time I would like to start with you again, Alex first.
Yeah, 100%. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Monotonous tasks. Again, if you circle back to video editing, like rotoscoping, a lot of those don't really exist anymore because at a click of a button, you can complete those tasks. However, it puts the power in the beholder now, and the beholder being the creative. So I think what you don't have to be afraid of is what originates from the human mind. I think that still holds a lot of water, for lack of a better term. I think if you put your focus on being creative, and now there's no burden, again, of learning the hard skill. You don't have to be an AI, as in like Adobe Illustrator, sorry, not AI, Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop expert. You can genuinely just be creative and have all your ideas and thoughts plotted onto a beautiful painting, a beautiful video, so on and so forth. And I think that's kind of where it's going to be. Again, if you're a person that thinks that, oh, I'm just going to take a class in becoming a graphic designer, then I think it's going to be difficult. However, I do want to point out, this problem's existed before AI, right? Like, I'm a big user of Canva, and I couldn't use AI as in Adobe Photoshop or Adobe Suite if my life depended on it. But when I discovered Canva, all the social medias from my personal Instagram, I run a fitness page as well, those things, I became like a graphic designer already. So we've been facing this problem for a long time. I think AI is actually here to help more than it is to disrupt.
Excellent. Eric, how do you see that situation?
Yeah, so still, actually I'm studying for visual communication before. So when I was studying because Photoshop is kind of very new at the moment. So not that too many people understand, okay, because in the past we have to use pencil or paper or anything to create your imaginations. So then you can use Photoshop and other tools to do it. So coming up to today, maybe you do not have a skill to visualize something, but you can use your imaginations to let AI to help you to do it. So still, I'm still thinking of the way is how you use it. So you don't have to be afraid about it, but you have to learn more. And then you can create more. So this is the still I believe on maybe I don't know how to do video photographer, but I can try to use AI to make some new stuff. So that means we can have more and more content and more creators to come into the industry as well. Just for example, maybe I don't really familiar with 3D modeling, but now I can try to use AI to see what I can do in this area, and then I can try to open a new door for my own business. So this is what I'm thinking of how AI can really help me to do, but not just only hesitate to use it.
Excellent. Now, Jennifer, you told us that you actually work with unicorns, you've invested, you work with a lot of young people, I'm sure. So people probably come up to you and say, Jennifer, you know, I'm not sure which route do I go. Do I go to this route or this route? Do I study this? Do I get into that? Do I create this? So based on that, you know, when it comes to the employment and industry, what is things that you tell them? What is advice that you give to those people and general public?
Yeah, so the advice I'm giving to people when they say, oh my gosh, like, what should my career path be? I'm going to become obsolete what with this AI and technology. And it's the same advice I gave myself 10 years ago and even now. Because I think as humans, we're still all very much works in progress. Wow, like literally I see Richard from my business school there. I see Thomas from my business. Is everyone in Hong Kong like literally in the audience that I know? Anyway, I mean, I'm the same I was 10 years ago, I think, which is like, I really think that we're still learning. I think the instant that we don't learn and evolve is when we become very stagnant. So what I try to do, and that's why I coded my own avatar, and that's why, you know, this is on my social media, she's playing piano and everything. It's because I was scared of the unknown. So I think if you're always learning, if you're always growing, then you don't have to worry that AI is going to come take your job. And if they do, that means your job wasn't really very good to begin with. You have to actually evolve it so it's a career. Because I don't think like AI is out there to grab your career. It's there to grab your job. And that's another reason why we're all multi-hyphenates now. That's why I'm like, hi, I'm a creator, investor, builder. I'm a writer, I'm a speaker. That's why we're all doing that, because there's no one way. I mean, if you think of it in terms of this miraculous development and this technology, it can be, by the same token, really scary to have this amount of power that we don't necessarily have control over. The other thing I also suggest is that AI does not have the power of community yet. And we as people do. So we can still actually come together as communities and think of what we should be doing to counter the fact that we want to make this pro-human. I'm not at the point where I'm pro-AI yet. I think I'm more pro-human and humanity. So we have to think along the lines of, how do we make this human-centric? How do I make it apply to me? How am I going to survive? How is my great-great-grandchildren going to survive? What are they going to do, right? So we have to really future-proof how we see our current I don't want to call it gigs, but we need to think more long-term in terms of our career, our legacy, and how we leave on a mark in the world. Otherwise, we will just be a gig player in the AI economy.
Excellent. Thank you. So we've talked about some of the ethics, but I want to now keep going on that part, because one of the biggest misuses of AI has been deepfakes. Right? We've seen people, right? People have said, well, you know, if I see this message from this person, how do I know if it's real or not? So the question I have for the panel is, what are the risks of bias and misinformation in AI-generated art and media? So I will start with you, Alex, because you guys have a vetting process, which you said for artists. I want to know, how does other companies, how would they actually implement such a thing as well?
Yeah, just to touch upon that again is for our platform specifically, we verify, we interview the artists who want to come on board. So we make sure that they're actually emerging artists. They have a skill set, they have a style, so that they can then have access to our P2P Gen AI tool. So that's kind of how we've addressed that IP ethical issue. Now, I think it's really important though with the deepfake question. I think it's very interesting because I think, again, not to make a bold prediction here, but the way we consume media right now, like for myself, I actually look online a lot of times for news, catch up with like world events. A lot of it will come from news outlets, but that for one is a whole can of worms I don't want to open here. But if you're someone that looks for news and information on like say social media, headline baiting is already a thing, but also with fake news anchors, fake videos of news coming out, I think the way we consume media is going to be very, very tricky and gray down the road. Now, do I have the answer to that? Not necessarily. But once again, with art, I think so long as we protect the IP, and so long as we work with artists, not necessarily physically, but at least person to person, that's one way that you can control the narrative.
Thank you. And how about you, Eric?
Still, I don't have the right answer at the moment because, but just want to share one use cases for deepfake, perhaps. So I don't know if you guys, I'm a big fan of Star Wars. So there's a TV series called Mandalorian. So they are using deepfake to create a young Skywalker. So this is a very good use cases for deepfake that inside the entertainment industry. So this is all based on how you're going to use these tools to create the content. So, but I still believe there's so many creators, they will really think about how to protect this industry and then to make sure the tools is using in a good way. Talking about fake news, I believe maybe coming up there we will have a lot of different solutions to provide that people can be identify which is the new real one or a fake one. So this is still, I will say, try to stick with the update and then to looking for some new solutions and then keep ourselves update into this area. Then you will have a lot of idea how to working on it.
Excellent. Now, Jennifer, on that question, obviously you're a well-known personality. You have your own twin and everything. So how are you gonna, when you go out there, how do you prevent, someone deep faking you and now going around trying to ask investors for money and, and all that kind of stuff and trying to sell coins to Jennifer Lo, Cheng Lo, with 2Ls.com and they don't know. So how do you address it?
Absolutely. So for me, that's an ongoing scourge. I have so many people. Like just last week, I'm trying to report a fake Facebook account, a fake Twitter account. Sometimes Sebastian and Yacht actually will tell me, they'll be like, hey, can you report the fake? I see you have a fake, I'll report it. Can you report my fake? And I'm like, oh my gosh, how many of you guys have? So I realized at a certain point that happens because I'm what you call, what Ali just referred to, I'm doxxed. I'm beyond doxxed. Meaning, like, before the advent of social media even, like, my face was in Times Square billboards and I was playing piano around the world, right? So, and I was acting and modeling and everything. So I still see that now. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, wasn't that picture I was, like, modeling when I was, like, 18 on a cell phone and like now it's like everywhere. What is going on? Or I'll see it in my friend's the CEO of Coffee Meets Bagel. She's like, there's so many girls with fake profiles using your picture. So if it's me on Tinder or it's not me. So one of the ways I counter is there's a blue check mark next to my name if it's socials, verified socials. The other thing is I notice you're absolutely right because I'm an investor as well. I'll have a lot of people come up to me at conference and say like, hey, can you look at my deck? Oh, great. Like 5 hours later, they're like, I'm closing the round. Are you in or not? And I'm like, what? And they're like, I took a selfie with us earlier. I was like, I think there's a group picture. And then they're like, oh, and then it'll spread to someone else saying like, oh, so-and-so took a picture with them. Are you investing in their company? I'm like, no. Like, so then I realized one of the things I do now to protect myself at conferences is if I don't know someone, if it's not a warm intro, I don't go up and say like, hello, this is my life story. Because like your information is sacred. The other thing I do, and what I think was alluded to by Alex too, is I verify. I don't trust. Because I've seen actually some of my friends, actually some of them, including me, have gotten drained before accidentally when they're doing a charity thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, my wallet got drained. And I'm sure you too, Eric, you've seen that as well. And I was looking at Sandbox for Mindshare, and I was like, I tweet about them occasionally, and I was like, how come I have 3% Mindshare? That's amazing. There's so many people holding sand, right? So one of the things I think you have to do is be authentic in yourself. If your friends see someone who's fake of you, there's like a fake Gen bot with a Bitcoin lending casino. I've been trying to shut her down, and that's another reason why I try not to use Telegram so often, because I don't know most of the people messaging me there. I will know people more likely if they have my WhatsApp, if I know them in real life. And so even if I post things on Telegram occasionally, for me it's filled, sorry Telegram people, it's filled more with spammers and scammers. So a little bit more, because I don't know who they are. So finally I wrap up by saying, do your diligence. Always do your diligence. Because sometimes someone who is your friend might suddenly become a fake friend or someone who is a scammer or a rugger. You never know. Or someone may have had their phone taken over. I've had people really this is an exciting space, but you have to be really careful. There's so much fake news. What do we call it? AI slop. There's a lot of AI slop just running around the place. So just because it's on the TV or on Twitter, doesn't mean it's true. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Getting off my high
Thank you
horse.
so much. Now, earlier, Eric mentioned a success story, a success case, nice use where AI was used in The Mandalorian, right? So this question is more actually for Alex, because I would like to know if you can share maybe one or two success stories of how your company, your technology, your AI has helped artists, because one of the issues we have as a lot of artists is the starving artist, right? Is where we create and we create, we don't know how to sell stuff, we don't know how to regenerate, we don't know how to generate revenue, we don't know how to be seen. So can you give us just a success case where AI or your platform has actually helped artists to generate some income, some revenue?
Yeah, I'll give you both, right? So with Articulator, our platform, we've actually, I think the key is once you demonstrate to the artist, like you said, the one who still believes in the romance of being a starving artist, once you show them that, hey, actually, if you can leverage this AI thing, this thing that you're so afraid of, instead of running away from it, if you embrace it, there could be some positives, right? And we had an artist called Wilson who showed up at a unicorn day with myself and Daniel, and he made sales just off of one painting, but he generated 5 different digital derivatives, we call them, and people were really interested. Like, wow, I can buy this for at this fraction of the price. It looks like the real thing, but it really wasn't. It was an anime version of it, and that was incredible. And he just started thinking and started believing in the power of AI for traditional art. Now, I said I'd give you 2 because, secondly, there's actually this AI company, not associated with me. I'm not sponsored, I promise. It's called Tattoo AI, which is incredible. So what they do is, instead of getting the artist to work with you for hours to come up with a design and end up with a half sleeve that looks pretty bad, like the one on my arm, you can actually generate awesome tattoo ideas in seconds after a simple text prompt. I think those guys raised like 50 mil. They have about 10 million active users. It's incredible. And you'd think tattoo artists would hate them because they make their work redundant. Yes and no, always a double-edged sword. But there are a lot of tattoo artists, again, they're also starving. They want to have more, they want to make more money. They just carved out 2 extra hours because they don't have to draw stencils and just tattoo, which is what they enjoy doing. And I think, again, we're slowly seeing this bridge between art, technology, and AI. And I think it's a really interesting time that we're living in.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now, one of the things that I look forward to is the VR and the AR experiences, right? I went to an exhibition some time ago. There was a photo done by the photographer. They had an app, and if you took the app in front of the photo, that photo became alive. It was like a lion roaring or an elephant running. So for me, those kind of applications are very interesting. So I would like to actually ask Eric, how is the AI intersecting with the emerging technologies like VR and AR in entertainment?
This is also one of the questions that I used to always asking from the community. When Sandbox will integrate AR or VR into this area. But actually, because Hong Kong, they have a company called the Sandbox VR, people is always confusing about it. Because actually, to be honest, Sandbox, we don't really supporting VR at the moment. The reason is, still, we are on the user-generated content stages. We would like to attract more people to get into this area to create their own stuff. So that's why some of the AR tools, which is developed by the community, they can already help the creator to get started with generating some 3D modeling to put it into this area. But still, Sandbox, we are trying to integrate more and more because we want to make the metaverse even more immersive. So obviously, AR and VR is the way to make the people feel that this experience is more immersive for themselves. So I'm really looking forward. I would say this is one of the very important area to do it. But the way is, perhaps this is still too early because the hardware, everything, is not really compatible for daily use. But we understand that the AI glasses is coming out, everything is coming out. So these kind of experience will be coming up in maybe 1 or 2 years later. Then maybe you can just wearing a very simple glasses, and then you can enjoy the Sandbox experience when you're walking to work, something like this. So I'm looking forward to it. And then it's not very hard to have it. Maybe it's coming out soon. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Now I come down to my final question for the panel, and then we'll open up for Q&A for you guys. I'm going to start here with Jennifer, because Jennifer, you're on the forefront again, right? So you get to see the unicorns, all those kind of things, the ideas that are just coming out of the community. So the question is, what predictions do you have for AI's influence on art and entertainment over the next decade?
Wow. All right. Well, stick me with the future forecasting. That's okay. I'm actually really. I love predicting the future, because actually one of the things I think you can tell about the future, one of the ways you can tell the future is you actually go back and look at history and the past, because it's very cyclical, right? So we've been through several waves. We've been through industrial revolution, obviously. We've been through the computing revolution with hardware and software. A lot of times when I think some of us were young or not even born yet. And then the advent of the internet, and now the advent of AI, right? So in all these cases, everyone is like, I mean, in this particular one, I think it's been exponential growth, unprecedented. I would say like there's been so much happening in the last year that happened more than in the last 3 years alone, right? It's just accelerating. But I think if we look back, 5 years from now, we'll say like, wow, this is a very interesting inflection point. This is a time where you can, as a person, say, I was there, this moment in history, I chose the side of good, or I chose the side of like, the dark side. Like, I don't want to do more Star Wars reference or anything, but I know there's some Star Wars sauce in here. But one of the things is, I think it can come across as a very simple thing. Sometimes people are like, where's your AI? And I said, I'm actually wearing my AI. Or like, where's your NFT? I'm like, I'm wearing my NFT. Here's my punk. Here's my AI. And one of the reasons why I do that is I think that in everyday life, as we learn to use I got very excited about using DeepSeek when it first came out. I was like, wow, I don't have to have a VPN to go use Poe, to go to use like ChatGPT. And I get very excited when I can make my life more efficient. So if we look at AI and we look way back when we're all like cavemen and saying like, ooh, look, we have a new tool. This is a stick. And like, let's make a wheel. I think we can look at it that way too, and then understand that it can be a powerful force for good, but we can also be a powerful force for, I'm sure you guys remember the atom bomb, right? And when science was used for nefarious reasons, right? So same way here, we have a chance to make sure that we're on the right side of history. So
Great.
That's where we can, that's my
Excellent.
look ahead.
Thank you so much. Eric, 30 seconds.
Okay. Still, try to, I imagine that more people will be familiar about it, understand how to use it, and then maybe they will have more and more creators coming out from this area. And then I'm really looking forward to that. And then perhaps it's not just only for gaming, but also for daily life, perhaps. So this is what I'm looking for.
Excellent. Alex, 30 seconds.
I predict Arnold Schwarzenegger shows up, looks for Sarah Connor. Honestly, I think that my prediction for AI, especially in the art scene, is that in 5 to 10 years' time, we'll see it seamlessly integrated in a lot of processes, workflows for traditional artists, as well as those who don't have the hard skill in art, quote unquote, but have the ability now to be part of that industry.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to the esteemed panelists. Okay. Thank you guys so much for today. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. We can ask questions. If not, we'd like to wrap it up and maybe take a quick group photo on stage before the next panel comes. And we'll be around if anybody else wants to come and ask us personal or questions about us, our work. Please come and let us know. Okay. Thank you so much.